morning, guys. June 1st, Monday. It's time to get down to it. You know how this one goes. It's time to take a look at the market. So it's a crazy weekend with protests. ASCO was this weekend, so cancer conference that I had been waiting on for over a month finally happened. So a whole bunch of different things that are going to be going on in the market. Let's check out and see what's happening right now. S&P and NASDAQ are up. Tech sector driving, followed by healthcare. So that's good news for me. China's way up on their bonds. Bitcoin's approaching 10K. Asian markets are up. Crude is up. All right. So let's take a look at the list. So this is the new tool that we started to use, Tip Ranks. We just started to use it last week. So some of the positions that I've held longer than a week are in here, which is showing average returns that are lower than they normally are. I'll pull up the TD desktop after that and doing their update on it, so hopefully I can show you guys my actual portfolio. But here we are, at least give you a feel for what's in there, what kind of allocation I've got by sector. If you guys want to, at any point, check out the portfolio. Portfolio won't do it for you. You gotta go portfolio. There we go. That only is going to work on Twitch, I believe. So just so you're aware. No news, no bells on any of these stocks, so that's fine. Head here, pin that. All right, let's start off with PR stuff. Okay, a little bit of chatter about MRKR, not a ton. Immutep got good news. ASCO. Okay, I can actually remove ASCO now, as it's all done. Not a ton in here yet on the upgrade feed, so gonna get rid of that. MFA Financial. got a new valuation, so I'll take a look at that. DMPI. Good morning. Guten Tag. Guten. Oh, blast. It's still stuck to Twitch settings, huh? I knew I didn't update something. Give me 2 seconds, and I will head over there and fix that. Stream manager, edit stream info. We were having some fun. We were having some fun on Saturday. Doing some singing. Okay, so let's change this. Let's change this. Let's make it. Can only select 5. I guess I want this one. I'd rather have playing with viewers, I think. Playing with viewers. Okay, great. Okay, bring this over here. Done. Bring this over here. Great. We're ready to roll. No, I appreciate that. Wouldn't want people to see me just singing and be like, "Whoa, what is going on?" Okay, so let's go here. Got some good news over the weekend, guys. It looks like by end of week this week I will be live on LinkedIn as well. So I don't know how many people are from this community, but singing sucks. No, man, I love singing. I love music. I'm a huge fan of it. Maybe in another life, kind of deal. But yeah, I love to do karaoke. I love. It's just fun. It's a good time. So yeah. Plus, everybody gets a kick when you can call it any song, and the person's like, "Sure, I'll try it." It makes it a lot more fun. All right. Okay, so we went through tip ranks. We went through the BIOS stuff up to FDA approved. Okay. AstraZeneca got 2 approvals. That's good. Brolacidin. Have to be careful with a few of these sources. Okay. And let's see what Moleculin's got. Okay, that's the announcement that trading will resume. So there is a command for that, but it's only on Twitch that it works. The command doesn't unfortunately work on YouTube. So what it does is it takes you to tip ranks. I don't know that you can see that, but should be able to see that. What's up, Downhill? Man, you are up early. All right. All right. I can do this. Finally figured out what was going on with my music, so you guys have some tunes to jam with today. All right, let's start at the start of this list. This is in regards to MRKR. It's saying that, well, it's not specifically mentioned in a report. Drugs of its nature and field are, so that's good. Immutep got positive results on their dosage and on their treatment, so that's good. MFA. This article's inaccurate. Let's go over to tip ranks and see. So that other page just said, oh, okay. Well, I mean that's a little easier, a little bit easier. Based on 4 analysts offering 12-month projections, MFA they've got at 250. So my analysis on this stock has this extremely high because I have this up around the $5 mark on 12 months. I'm up here. Even at 250, I will have doubled up. All right. Yeah, Lily's is a win. That's got to go. Okay, so that's on here. I don't see anything on here I particularly want to take off except for this. Yeah. Yeah. They want their cake and they want to be able to eat it too. And the reality is what Trump did said, no, 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 no. You get what you wanted. You can't be a little kid and throw a tantrum here. You wanted Hong Kong, it's all yours, but it comes with none of the rights and privileges you thought it would. And that's the best way to play it. Any retaliatory action now is completely on China. What Trump did was say, I'm messing around with China. You claim that it's part of China, so we're going to treat it as though it's part of China. So its financial sector, everything about it, is going to be considered China. That's how we're going to deal with this. China can take action, but the reality is they can do very, very little. What are they going to do? Put tariffs on it? Threaten the trade deal? They need the trade deal to get their economy back up as much as we do. So, like, their hands are really tied. It was a brilliant play. Okay, Genentech. Not publicly traded. Roche. Pink sheet. Alright, Novavax's got an upgrade. Let's throw that on here. So 2 RBL are testing Berlocidin. Okay, guys. So an RBL is RBL testing. Oh, that's fantastic to hear. I'm glad you found the platform is working for you. Yeah, PFE is going to be strong. PFE is going to be strong. With they're already on the market drugs as well as their approval line. I whether they're the COVID play or not, hard to say, but I think they're in for a strong run here. So there's two separate labs that are taking a look at this. Oh yeah, Xenix. I hadn't thought about that. That's true. We now have preliminary in vitro data from two separate independent laboratories. So there's two RVLs that are so the registered biolabs guys are the government labs that are running the testing on COVID. IPIX's Berlacidin is being tested in two. Right, that's great news. All right. There's a lot of conjecture around Berlacidin because all the bag holders, right? This thing went. Here, let me show you here. Where's IPIX? Let's pull up the 10-year. All right. So at its peak, it was up around the $5 mark. It has crashed to a low of 5 cents, back up to 18. Now, I think it has the power to go back up to maybe this $2 level. I think $5 level is unreasonable, but $2, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was just a thought. It's not that I actually need anything to come from the referral code. It was just a thought. I've never tried it. I've never tried it with IB to see what exactly happens there. So if anything does happen, great. If it doesn't, oh well, no big. Thanks for trying to use it. That's all. Yeah, super appreciative of you giving it a shot at the very least. Okay, clear that, clear that, clear that. GameStop. Protesters looting GameStop. Because that has something to do with George Floyd looting a GameStop. Oh, this is fun. Yo, Spidey, what's up? Mayor's daughter arrested. Oh man, De Blasio. Oops. All right. De Blasio's trying to play the line of nothing to see here, and everybody knows there's something to see here. Everybody, there's something to see here. It, if people think that a blind eye can be turned to what's happening right now, all that's doing is escalating the situation. You can't come out as the mayor of New York and say nothing to see here. It makes things so much worse. All right, we got Russia. OK's Flug Drew. Oof. Here we are, guys. 4 in the morning. The Flug Drew. Okay, Target closing a bunch of stores after riots. So, guys, this is just another reason here. Remember, I was warning last week on the commercial ETFs, the commercial REITs. Big player like Target that's been doing well despite everything is closing 175 stores. 175. Morning, Techie. How we doing, buddy? Semiconductor industry lobbies for billions. Let's read that. Notable earnings before Monday's open. Biomarin. Futures. I think futures have since recovered, have they not? What are we looking at on the market right now? Futures look okay to me. Let's see if TD's done screwing around in my stuff. Spies down a little bit, but it's still 303, guys. Like 303.50 right now in the midst of this insanity. BNFT? Yeah, we can definitely take a look at BNFT. Currently at 12. Benefit focus. BNFT news. Tech platform, rapid innovation, health plans, consumers, announced $80 million investment. %8 dividend on this thing too. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Yeah, that's definitely one to watch. That's exciting. Proven track record, yada yada yada. 10-day volume, blah blah blah. $15 conversion price. Yeah, I expect this to move at least a couple bucks today for sure. Again, guys, just general disclaimer. By watching the streaming knowledge, I'm not providing financial advice that you're making the decision to copy my trades on your own account. I have no knowledge of the level of money you are trading with or the level of risk you are taking with each trade. You must make your own financial decisions. I take no responsibility for money made or lost as a result of my opinions or trades I take on this stream. You would refer to CFTC Rule 4.1. Link is there for those of you on Twitch. If you want it on YouTube, or you can Google it. None of us are to be trusted. We are not verified or certified professionals. All content on this podcast or stream, and by extension, social media platforms, are to be construed as education and opinion of that individual user. You are solely responsible for your own actions. That's out of the way. It's on the recording. Let's move forward, shall we? SpaceX did well. Connected to the International Space Station yesterday, so all is well there. Trump and Zuck talking. All right. So let's see what we got here. Okay. So Zuck isn't on board with how Trump said what he said, but he is okay with how Trump said it. Sorry, he's not okay with how Trump said it. He is okay that Trump said it. Which is a far different spin from Twitter, which is saying, Twitter is not okay with how he said it, that he said it, when he said it, where he said it. They want nothing to do with it. Russia's Ministry of Health has approved an off-patent pill originally sold under the brand name Ativan for influenza. So nobody trusts the data? Out of Russia on a COVID treatment with a flu drug. Semiconductor industry, blah, blah. $37 billion for the industry that's keeping the market afloat. This is clever. They're going, okay, Trump, listen, you're gonna start to play this war with China again. We can't have that. We can't have that affect our pipeline on semiconductors. So we want a $37 billion grant so that we can build semiconductor factories here in the States. This is a genius play. This is playing the president. I really like that. Auto Home and Embraer. This thing is directly tied to Boeing. Yeah, Boeing cut ties with Embraer. And that's why they declined from way up here to way down here, and they haven't seen recovery. China and Russia are lined up to buy it up. India also wants a piece. That might actually be a good play. Atom.finance. I have not. I can take a look at it though. Or ETJ. Yeah. ERJ. Okay. ERJ may be something to take a look at. Atom.finance. All right, let's take a look at this thing. Let's see what it does. We want to look at ERJ. I'm bullish on that. Let's take a look at IMMP. We're bullish on that. Let's take a look at. I should give it something I'm not bullish on, right? Let's go VTIQ. Bearish on that. All right, let's take a look at what this does. Morning, Dice. How you doing, buddy? Let's go. Okay, get rid of that. All right, portfolio. Okay, so this looks very similar to. Oh, it's got a plug-in with IB here. That's interesting. Today. Okay, so they have. Oh, this would be scary. If VTIQ voted not to. Yeah, Xenix suggested this tool. I'm just taking a look at it. It looks like a half breed between Koifin and um, a whole bunch of tools actually. ERJ, EMPI. Okay, so this is a subpar document search. It doesn't bring up the latest news. I'm not sure what it's using to search, but compare companies. Let's see what that does. Let's do DMPI. And let's do an MRKR. And let's do IMMP. Let's see what this tool does as far as this mix chart goes. Oh, it doesn't. This is it. This is all it provides. Okay. So I think I like Koifin better on that. The hubs. This is cool. I like this aspect of it for sure. This sorry, music stop. How can I find when quarterly earnings come for a specific company? So there's lots of different ways to do it. One of the easiest ways that I found is head over to Seeking Alpha or Yahoo Finance, whatever it is. Throw in the stock name. So let's say I want to know when IMMP has their quarterly earnings coming up. Oh, no. I know GameStop has theirs coming up and they've announced theirs. So let's do that. So GameStop earnings, announce date, right there. So I know on the 9th after market, this is going to come out. GameStop is going to move. Do not let the news of a couple of GameStops broken into with these protests and riots change the fact that we had a record quarter for video game sales. This is going to be a big deal. This is going to be a big deal. All right, guys, I am just going to take a quick 60-second break and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. We're going to continue breaking down what I find in the social feeds, the news, and then we can start to take a look at some of the stuff that you guys want me to break down. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, back at it. All right. mRNA. We're back at this, are we? All right. Don't they know when I say a stock is dead, it's supposed to die? Motley Fool is saying take a look at BNTX over Moderna. So it doesn't like Moderna either. But let's go here, let's go here, let's go. Tools, recent past week. All right. I don't think I can, but I don't make trades off of web browsers. I make my trades inside trading dashboards. So I would never be comfortable doing that direct link. I actually like having my portfolio separate from a web browser and a web tool. You definitely can't link it though. There are advantages to Atom. There are for sure. There were certain things that I did like that I saw there. Really, I just use Koifin as a quick snapshot, a way for you guys to be able to see what's going on in regards to the markets, in regards to spreadsheets that I'm pulling out. This quick overview here is probably the main reason. All right, guys, Moderna, here we go. Are we ready? Company investigated by the Portnoy law firm. Company insiders allegedly sold 80 million of Moderna shares prior to the stock's recent drop. So insiders knew that there was going to be negative results on the medication. Sold 80 million. Moderna falls 20% amid reports that insiders have sold 89 million in shares. Yeah. Run from Moderna is my opinion. Run. This may be considered insider trading for sure. Yikes. Play Justice League and get a casino bonus? What? Is this a game? What is this? Justice League game? I'm missing that somehow. Okay, so yeah, no, Moderna looks like it's in big trouble here, guys. You don't have the insiders, you don't have the executives selling off all kinds of shares. $29 million worth of shares. If you're confident it's still going to go up, they hold on to that. They hold on to that and milk it. So yeah. I people can say 65. I would stay right away from it. Okay, so ACRX having a dip. Okay. New bid. New bid. Okay, the vote on this is on the 8th. We find out this back and forth bidding war for Tetraphase. We find out on the 8th what happens. And either way, it's a win for ACRX. But when that news drops, you're going to come in looking Gucci. So for me, ACRX was a Q4 play. So if it dips down below what I'm currently holding at, which is... This is not going to show me my holdings because it's too early in the morning. Oh, but I've got tip ranks. I've got tip ranks now. Yep. Let's do that. Go to tip ranks. Smart portfolio. ACRX. No, I want my portfolio. Where's my public portfolio? Why won't it show my entry? Oh, that's what I wanted. Whatever that page was, I was just on. Recent activity. Okay, open position. ACRX. $1.64 US, which is... Ooh, did I forget to do that when I entered everything? Maybe that's why this is showing down so much. Either way. Anything below... What is the... Where's my US CAD? Anything below that, I think, is worth entering into. Where's ACRX today? $1.39? No, maybe 164 is accurate. Maybe 164 is right. Why don't I use a web browser to trade? I'm more confident in using a trading desktop, a trading dashboard, because you're working not off of the web, but you're working off of a brokerage. What was the other half of the message here, Lattice? Okay, so yeah, I think again, guys, my 12-month on ACRX, my projection is up here. So am I willing to buy in more? I've got a large percent of my portfolio already in this, but yeah, irregardless of what happens here with the bidding, irregardless of all of that, I see it up around the $6 range. I'm not sure where the analysts have it. Yeah, analysts have a high of 9. The $6 range is the average. This is extremely unlikely, given that we already have a order in from the Department of Defense, and everybody in the medical field that I have had take a look at the medical reports on the Dysuvia product, the sublingual morphine candidate, morphine replacement candidate, is just blown away by what it does. So there is no way I see that as low as $1. I know Yahoo Finance does it as well. Yahoo Finance I've seen has that capability. Because I'm a Canadian trader, though, the dashboard that I use isn't linked to anything. It doesn't work with anything. Um, and I'm okay with that. I would rather use a brokerage dashboard to do my trades than a web browser.
No, but joke two things.
No, four things.
Things.
Okay.
I can't do marshmallow sheet, just marshmallow face.
You'll have to tap on mom. I can't stop. I'm broadcasting right now, so you'll have to tap mom. Oh man, we had one of our friends find two kittens that were a couple of days old in the forest over the weekend, and my daughter has said that she's going to try to nurse these kittens into full-grown cats. But crazy. Every 2 hours, you got to feed these things. You gotta. There's a lot of care that has to go in them, and there's a high rate of failure. So it's just like. But yeah, anyway, guys. We were talking about ACRX. Yeah, I'm very confident that ACRX does quite well into Q4. I'm very much looking forward to it. So, all right, I'm gonna start pulling up news here, guys. If you have stocks that you want me to take a look at, just let me know. I'm happy to pull them up. Stock twits. Let's go there first. See what's moving. Of course, space is moving this morning, guys. Successful launch over the weekend. We expected this. That it's up 10% is low in my estimation. I think we see this thing run to 25, even though it's completely unrelated to the company. Space news is space news. What else do we have moving? Not a lot of anything yet. AOBC, what's this? Outdoor brand. So we had that prediction as well. This is something that Martini Rita and I broke down. If you guys don't know Martini Rita, she's a Twitch streamer exclusively. So for those of you on Twitch, you're going to be able to see that shout out pulls up her channel, I believe, is how that's supposed to work. Did I do it wrong? Shout out at Martini. Why don't I use a web browser to trade? I'm just not confident that a web browser will always fill. Web browsers crashed. Web browsers are not trading platforms. So for me, I am more comfortable using the actual brokerage than using the online web resource. I especially would never trade off of mobile phone. That seems super sketchy for me. So I'm always just a big fan of using the brokerage directly. So my brokerage is TD Advanced Dashboard. What I like to use is TD Advanced Dashboard. That's the thing that you guys see from time to time that I pull up here. This one here. It is a stock trading dashboard. This is all it does. It doesn't work with the web. It's not opening other browsers. It's not dependent on other resources. This is a dedicated. I have cores on my processor dedicated exclusively to this dashboard. So I'm much more comfortable using this brokerage directly. This tool was just built to trade stocks. That's what it's built for. Whereas web browser stuff it's a web browser. It's part of their website, but it's not the entirety of it. Okay, so what's GMBL? This is the other one that's moving esports. Okay, I wouldn't touch this, but okay, so that's good to know that those are what's moving early market. Let's head into the finance news. V-shaped recovery is in earnest off the table. Chess Gamer Supreme. Thanks so much for the follow, man. Appreciate that. What do you trade, sir? What are you looking at this morning? What looks good? All right. So the V-shaped recovery has been officially announced dead in water. That makes sense. Uh, so this is exactly it, guys. China got what they wanted. Hong Kong. Most people in the financial sector are looking at this and going, "Come on, guys, seriously, China." Thank you was the only appropriate response. This is like, you want a fact check on something? Here's a fact check. Like, Biden's got to win on a nearly impossible election because he's had no exposure. Trump is moving ahead in the polls despite everything that's going on. Like, okay. I just don't see the ground that China has to stand on to be like, what's the deal here? What's going on? We're upset and frustrated that, wait, the U.S. is acknowledging Hong Kong as part of China. Wait, that really the message? Yep, that's the message. And with that, Hong Kong will no longer get all the special privileges. It'll be treated like it's China. Uh, the Queen is not riding side saddle. Right, not much else there. So soy is something that China can prohibit because, I mean, let's be honest, they've probably got enough of that over there. Where China shoots itself on the foot is what happens. Okay, so they canceled pork orders. Okay, so what happens if the other meats and essentials that they need start to falter, like chicken? Um, yeah, this is this is a okay. Man, China. And what China doesn't realize is that's not really playing hardball. The reality at the end of the day is the country of industry is China, the country of the currency is the US. And until that shifts in some way drastically, China needs the US and the US needs China. It's symbiotic. They can hate each other all they want. Essentially, it's like when two brothers squabble, right? They can fight all they want. At the end of the day, they're still brothers, still part of the same family. I don't know that that would be a nightmare scenario because remember we were only in phase one. We weren't in a cemented trade deal. All that would do is all that would do in the event that we see the trade deal scrapped, at least phase one, is that we just go back to the table again and try to figure out a phase one, if we're going to call it phase one again. I mean, China needs the trade deal as much as the U.S. needs the trade deal. It's a reality. Chinese need the U.S. markets. The U.S. markets need the Chinese. Um, so China slapping back with, well, we're cutting back soy and pork is actually a really small tap on the wrist. It's not a huge deal. This is a big one. So another thing that we had been forecasting was the death of globalization, the idea that we are all one big beautiful world, and instead people are going to lock down and start taking care of their own countries first, and that's exactly what we're seeing. I saw some optimistic movement pre-market, but now it's slowing down. What do you think we could see today? Um, I think ultimately what happens is out the gate, people will be hesitant with the protests and riots and what's going on there, but then they'll remember that the stock market doesn't care about today; it cares about what's happening 3 months from now, 4 months from now, a year from now, and that's what's important. That's what's crucial. So really, what's going to happen is I think we see the end of the day go green. Um, this would be a ridiculous move. So the EU says that they're looking to tax 70,000 companies to get access to the EU market. And it's like, no, no, thank you, pass. You are not Asia. You do not get to pull that card. That would go extremely poorly for you. Um, okay. What else do we have coming in here? Jim Cramer's weighing in on something. So just to be clear, guys, this is the standard reminder from the stock market to the world. Stock market doesn't isn't as cold as callous as people would think. People are like, oh, well, you're just trying to benefit off of the pain and strife and pain and blood and death of others, and that's not how that works, guys. It's not. The reality is the market trades what the world gives it. So it's kind of that old adage of like, when the world gives you lemons, you make lemonade. That's what's happening this morning. Um, the state of the world politically is in a terrible place. What's going on with um, what I assume very shortly is just going to be considered race wars at this point. The parallel to the 1960s is staggering. That we've progressed so little in so much time, given the innovations everywhere else. It's really mind blowing. And so to get that out there, it is absolutely terrible what is going on in the states. Both the overextension of U.S. law enforcement, killing people that have neither been tried nor tested by a court of their peers, jury of their peers, military state in many instances now as a result of the National Guard coming in. The right to freedom of assembly, freedom of speech is under question as protests are being shut down by curfews and lockdowns. Now, being clear on that, guys, if you go back to the 60s and the marches by Luther King or the work of Malcolm X, what you've got there is people that are that did break lockdowns. They did break curfews. They did break when they were told that they had injunctions against their protests. They went anyway. So as for the peaceful protesters that are walking the streets and spreading the message that what happened to George Floyd was unacceptable, I think they are absolutely within their rights and they should continue to do so, irregardless of injunctions, regardless of court orders. That's what the freedom of speech and the freedom of assembly are there to protect. You can't stop people from gathering and speaking their voice. You're not allowed to do that. And if the government tries to, you defy. And defy. Now, that's speaking to the protesters, guys. That's speaking to the protests. That's speaking to the movement of people that are afraid, that are scared, that are tired of being walked all over by law enforcement without the same and equal rights that they are afforded in the U.S. Constitution. Now, that being said, guys, the protests are something that I separate entirely from the riots. The people that are stabbing, shooting, killing, burning, breaking in, stealing, maiming, whatever else, whatever laws are being broken. This is not the freedom of speech. This is not the right to peaceful assembly. This is not you spreading the message of George Floyd will never happen again. This is people being greedy. This is people being violent, and this is people taking opportunity where they see it. And that really breaks my heart. That those that are trying to spread a message and have a voice can't do that effectively because the rioters are getting more press time than the protesters, and that breaks my heart. Absolutely legitimately breaks my heart. So keep, guys, when you're out there today and you're looking at stuff, try to keep the focus on the protests separate from the riot. Those are two different things. Try not to use them synonymously. They are two completely different things. Oranges and apples, right? But yeah, I ultimately, guys, the market isn't trading maliciously. What it's doing is saying, okay, well, this is the world as it exists today. What does that mean for the economy? And the moves happen on that. Most traders I know are furious at the current circumstance, but that doesn't mean that they're going to wake up in the morning and just ignore the market as though it doesn't exist. So hopefully that helps. I know a lot of people in Europe are watching the US going, well, what the hell is the deal with this? Nobody really knows right now. Nobody knows what this is or what it will become. Apple's opening up in Tokyo again, so that's good to see that Tokyo and Japan are starting to open back up, especially Western business. Maybe I need to take a look at the Japanese markets. Apparently they are locked and loaded with bio stocks. Let's follow this. Wall Street Journal markets. Here it is. Multi-billion-dollar Hong Kong share sale. Stay out of jets. Stay out of jets. Find the airlines that look like they're gonna do well. Stay out of jets. This is an interesting play, guys. I don't know the sector, but plexiglass apparently is in extremely high demand at the moment. Local businesses are down. Municipal leaders don't have anything to say about it, can't do anything about it. Small lenders, small borrowers are both getting hit. Okay, looks like we got some more PR. GameStop is just gonna light up all day. Orphan designation. GMed. All right. Anything you guys are looking at this morning that you want me to take a look at, you want me to break down? I'm through social. I'm through pretty much everything that I've seen so far that I need to take a look at. 8K here from... We can break down this 8K. Probably won't be long. Oh, this is regarding ACRX. So this is an 8K filing that was filed May 29th, entered into a second amendment to agreement plan of the merger. Pursuant to the amended merger agreement, the effective time of the merger, the holders of Tetraface common stock will be entitled to receive upfront. So it's still not 1-to-1. You're not getting 1-to-1 shares of ACRX with Tetraphase, which is good. What's interesting is, like, you look at Tetraphase right now, right? TTPH. Yeah, exactly. I honestly think that the market will start unsure of itself, but as the day goes on, as news comes in, as we see that the market survives just fine through this, I think that we see it's steady. Now, do we go green or red? Don't know. Monday is going to be a bit of a coin toss, but I think by the end of the week we're green. Short of Trump with another bombshell on Friday afternoon. First, China's opposed to it. It didn't get what it wants, man. China's firm counterattack was pork and soybeans. Okay, super scary. Hang Seng was up 3.3%. I don't know that you can put the entire global economy on China, Trump, but it was a piece of the puzzle for sure. Facebook publicly tears itself apart over Zuckerberg's decision to keep Trump's post about the George Floyd protests. mean, this is a breakdown of Facebook's response where they refuse to take down Trump's posts. Oh, this is interesting. OPEC Plus this week. So oil should be interesting this week. Has no objection to the next OPEC Plus meeting being brought forward to June 4th from a long week. So OPEC says the time for cuts is done. We could see oil drop in a big way, but says, no, we're good to go. Let's do this, boys. Let's extend the cutbacks. We could see the glut continue to decline, and we could see a spike in oil, which would be great for the market as a whole. We're looking at retail closures here. I think this one is probably the one hit the hardest out of all this because these guys here, Target, Walmart, Apple, Nike, Amazon, they've got a decent online presence. I think Nordstrom is the one that takes the big hit on this. I would look at that retail sector declining for sure in a big way. All right, Tetraphase, ACRX, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Based on the closing price of this, on the cash consideration to be received by equity here would be 37 million. That's up significantly from the 20 that was originally offered here. The phrase has approved the merger and amended the terms of the merger in the Second Amendment. Determined that as a result of the Second Amendment, Melinta's previously disclosed proposal May 27th is not superior and has recommended the adoption of the merger agreement. Okay, so right now, Melinta is saying take the ACRX deal. Excuse me. Okay. So that's good news there, where Tetraphase is saying they want to go with the deal from HCM is one to watch. Orphan drug and fast track designation. UVXY, GMBL. Target's down, but that's on the closures. What's Navi? People are calling for the death of Navi. Let's see what happened in Navi that people want this thing to die so badly. Navient. Do you have a student loan with Navient? Beware of scammers posing as Navient and offering debt forgiveness for a fee. That's not really on Navient. You can't really blame Navient for that. Is that it? That's really... What is it that they're talking about? This Risky Bisky guy was in everywhere trying to get people to short this thing. This guy, this single account spammed absolutely everywhere. Saying that some news is going to drop. I don't see it anywhere on the web. Yeah, time to report this guy's account. Hey, little man. No. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Tell me about it. Upgrades. Lululemon gets an upgrade. Okta gets an upgrade. Celis gets an upgrade. Biosciences gets a downgrade. Okay, let's start over here. Lululemon up 5.5 after analyst upgrade. Upgraded the stock from 250 to 335. That's a huge upgrade. That's huge. Huge upgrade for Lululemon. Bremer Hotel and Resorts. Upgraded by analysts on value engine from strong sell to sell. So that's not really a great upgrade for them. Okta. Okta is... small upgrade on Okta, not anything massive. Okay. Excel Technologies upgraded from a buy to a strong buy. Excel's traded up 27 mark. 12-month low of that. 12-month high of 29. Company's 50-day moving average. From sell to hold, strong sell to sell, from my buy to hold. People don't know what the heck that thing is. That's gross. Stay away from that. Yuck. I can't find anything else about Navient except this about the scam. So I am happy to look at whatever you guys have. I'm just scanning the news right now. So if you guys have stuff that you want me to take a look at, I'm more than happy to do that. I'm just popping into social. Okay, so guys, when I'm going to check out a new business, let's see if there's something out there that's piquing my interest. Okay, Top Glove, Malaysian company. Okay, so Top Glove. First thing I'm going to check is just put it in here and see if there's a stock. There is a stock. It's not traded on my market, so typically I would stop. I would stop here. Um, but what these articles are saying is there's significant growth in the glove industry, right? So great. I know that. I know that gloves have potential. So US glove manufacturers. So let's go here. There's a bunch of companies here. So let's add publicly traded. Publicly traded US glove manufacturers. So Top Glove is available on our OTC. And are all the gloves OTC? Yeah, so personally, I don't know that I would go anywhere near this because it's all OTC stuff. But let's take a look at Top Glove does come up in just about every single report. It's had a nice rise. Damn, look at that. In January and now. That's huge. Yeah. So what I would do is I would look at this chart and I would go, okay, so what are we looking at? Are we looking at a resurgence? Are we looking at that this is needed long term? If so, is this a reasonable place for this? I don't know if this does. Yeah, not enough data. There's one person on it at a buy ranking. So what I'm looking at is okay. What's the news? What's the thought? What's the process behind this glove company, right? And so the process would be if you think that gloves are just going to be a standard, everybody everywhere is going to be wearing gloves all the time, and that's the standard, then this company stands to gain continuously into the next couple of quarters. If you think we're going to see a resurgence in flu season, we're going to see another variation of COVID. We're going to see COVID come back. We're going to see a mutation, so COVID-20. This could be a potentially strong play. If you think, though, that we are in a decline, people are becoming less conscious of it. They're not so concerned about gloves. Not so sure about this one. Not so sure about this one. Yeah. I mean, it's for me, the way that I trade is I always try to put myself in the mindset of the market, right? So, is the market thinking we're through this? Right now, all the indicators are pointing to yes. We're talking less and less about COVID every single day. We're talking more and more about reopening, what that looks like, who's reopening, and why. So, I'm definitely leaning hard on we're looking to move out. Hmm. Spy just wants to hover this 30350. Yeah, so the officers are a piece of the puzzle, but the officers only matter in as much as the day-to-day operation of the company. They don't really matter in regards to how the market is going to relate to the business. And that's one of the big issues that I've got with that mentality of like, we'll just worry about who the CEO is and who what their numbers look like and what that looks like. Um, I've got to dispose of this baby. I will be right back. Yeah, so I'm a little bit less concerned about who the CEO is. So you could be the CEO of a company like Chesapeake, and it doesn't matter that you're the best CEO in the world because the reality is your product is garbage. Um, so, yeah, for me, I'd rather look at the market and what the market is doing, demanding it, and hoping for. There goes Spy. Spy's on the up. It's headed for 30370 right now, 72, 75. We've got upward movement on the Spy heading into pre-market. So, yeah. Of course, big ones to watch today are going to be RGR and LMT. LMT has a 396 buy at it. RGR has no ask and a 64 bid. So people are just expecting RGR to go through the roof here. Okay. April's rebound is looking good. And China got no chill. China's up 11.3% today. Okay. Let's find the stock here. Hey, GXO, how's it going? Market cap just tells you how big it is. Why should RGR and LMT move today? On the protests and the riots, guys, typically when things like that happen, you can expect to see firearms and people that have high military contracts do well. So, given the protests and the riots, RGR is one of the largest producers of firearms in the US. Typically, you will see that move up. LMT, large amount of military and paramilitary contracts as far as munitions, weapons, gear. So you can expect them to do well as well. Okay, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. Free cash flow is important. Levels of debt are important. Um, but yeah, these ratios are not something that I watch for out the gate. Um, so all of these metrics are living here and now or in the past. And for me, the reason why I don't place value in PE, PB, debt equity, free cash flow is well, not so much free cash flow. Free cash flow is kind of can be forward thinking, but the rest of those are looking behind us. They're saying, okay, this is what's already happened, and for me, it the market trades tomorrow. It doesn't trade today. It trades the future. So even when news drops today, people aren't trading that news that dropped. They're trading the impact that that news is going to have on tomorrow. That's what the market is constantly doing. And I find the more that I can make myself think in that mindset, in that view of like, right, not today, tomorrow, not today, tomorrow. And you've got that viewpoint. It doesn't even necessarily be tomorrow. It could be a quarter from now. It could be 6 months from now. It could be a year from now. It could be 5 years from now. It could be 10 years from now, depending on what kind of trader you are. Those metrics of current or reflective or retroactive analysis just don't do me any good. So I couldn't really speak to them on the basis of I never use them. I never look at them. They're not a real consideration now. Free cash flow and debt is something that I will look at come earnings if there's a company I'm interested in. So when we broke down the 10K on BTIQ, for example, we went through it to look at what their debt was, what their assets, their liabilities look like, what their bills coming due look like. That's when that kind of stuff comes important. But that's after I'm already interested in the company. I've done the due diligence on the FA, and then I start to break that down. So I don't really have a lot of insight for you into those ratios and stuff because I don't use them ever. I just don't use them. Um, I know that's not probably the most helpful answer, but that's just kind of the honest truth of where I'm at. I mean, somebody who trades TA is going to tell you that they like TA more. I think I'm biased in saying that I like FA more because I use FA more, right? I think a lot of it comes also from your understanding, your education, and your experience. So for me, as far as technicals go, that isn't really how I know business. I know business to be about the people and about the customers in the community. And so that's what I try to focus on when I'm trading businesses is not necessarily their technical aspects and more so on who they are as a company, what their ethics are, their morality, what their product is, how their community sees them. That's going to be more important to me in the trading of the company. So this is one of the reasons why when people are like, "Well, would you trade against Apple? Would you trade against Amazon?" My answer is no, because Apple fans will always be Apple fans. Tesla fans are always going to be Tesla fans. Even if all the technicals point to it not being what it is, I would still side with them just because I know the force of having a community that's dedicated to your brand like that. Um, Amigo loans. That's cool. I might not be able to get into it. Nope, can't read it. It's a cool idea though. Yeah, that's a large part of it, but it's not just community feedback. I'm gauging how people actually respond to the product and the brand, right? So, if I guess let's use Apple as an example, right? There's a tool that I use called StockTwits. You guys can't get your hands on this, as far as I know. But what I do here is I would type in Apple. Hmm, I mean, it needs to just reopen the tool here. Log in. Thinking. It's thinking hard. Okay, there we go. Apple. Okay, so that's over 13 months. I want last 7 days, so I'm going to switch to that. What this tool is doing is it's scanning the entire internet for mentions of Apple. So over the past 7 days, 1.8 million references to Apple directly, 13.3 million engagement. Positive, negative is 50-50. What we can see here is there was a negative sentiment into the end of last week, and that all of a sudden that we had a huge uptick. Better believe that this is on news this morning that the Tokyo stores are reopening. So what this gives me the advantage of knowing is like, okay, people are relatively positive over the last week, with the exception of Friday when China and Trump went at it. And then over the weekend, people weren't quite sure. And then bam, Japan. News that Japan is coming out. So heading into the market today, I'm aware that there's positive sentiment all of a sudden spiking out of Apple. So I use this market sentiment as a huge indicator for me. I can find influencers on this. Tool that we're looking at right now is called Talkwalker. So there's some traders mingled in here. There's some different communities, some news, New York Times, Sky, Blackbank charts. So yeah, I mean, this just tells you who's there, what they're talking about, where it's being discussed. Twitter has a huge amount of conversation happening around Apple. I just use this to assess and evaluate. I can sometimes go into top themes if I'm not sure what the spike was on. I already know from reading the news today that it's spiking on Tokyo, but what this does is it provides a word cloud showing me what people are talking about in regards to Amazon. Or Apple. So in the event that I see something that pops that I didn't expect to see, which I don't, you don't see anything that's like, oh, I wonder what that is. Occasionally you'll see something pop in there, but this is the process that I go through when I'm trying to look at a new stock. Unfortunately, that's a tool that has an extremely high price tag on it for most individual users. It's typically a corporate tool, so that's what I'm talking about, guys. This is what we need to get behind in a big way. Like, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. This makes me so happy to see this morning. So this is a protest that's going on in Milwaukee. This, like, no looting, no burning. Morning Brad is on fire. No looting, no burning, no breaking things. This is people on their bikes and their motorcycles. This is people protesting. This is what this should look like. Freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. Nobody getting hurt, nothing getting broken or burned. This is exactly what it is. Fantastic. Fantastic, Milwaukee. So happy to see this. Walk with us. Nice. Oh, I got a little teary eyed on that one. Maybe. Maybe. I just keep going back to these protests, guys, and yeah, many of the protests from Martin Luther King Jr. were protests that happened during the day, but there were also many that happened at night. Many that happened at night. They filed injunctions against Luther King and his marches. They had SWAT. They told them it was illegal. They told them they had no right to do it. They did it anyway. So if there are peaceful protests like what we just saw, breaching curfew and injunction, in my mind, that's protected by the Constitution. The second you start looting, burning, breaking, vandalizing, hurting, murdering, well, that's not protected by the Constitution. But the freedom of assembly, like this is a protest. This is what happened next. Okay, so to be clear, this is a big difference from this. But back to the market. It is getting harder and harder. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's the shame of it, right? Like, news sources are saying, "Well, we're doing a great service by showing this." It's like, okay, well, if I hop into this U.S. News Live feed, this is what it's showing. It shows buildings burning, people being foolish, firecrackers going off, what looks like disorganized chaos, right? It looks like a war zone. What we're not seeing out of these news publications is stuff about peaceful protests. I mean, SWAT gear and militia and people demolishing cars, and this is absolutely ludicrous. Like, where are the stories of the peaceful protests? They're not there. Anyways, guys, it's tough to differentiate that from the market because a lot of how I trade is through social, it's through the news, it's through what's happening. Ooh, Ghana's got a low fatality rate, so they're opening back up. That makes sense. Here it is, guys. They made it. They made it. Bob and Doug are there. Bob and Doug are there. Frozen. Oh no. Boo. Really? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Weird. Let me go. Oh, that's not it. Where's the browser? All right, how about now? Hopefully that's better, guys. Hopefully you can see now. Techie. Okay, so guys, the question is: people say the market is overvalued. There should be no doubt, be a crash that doesn't deserve to be that high. My opinion. Okay, my opinion, guys. If we pull up the SPY right now and we look at the SPY, okay, January was all-time highs for the SPY. I remember when we were there at 312 and people were losing their mind. We went all the way up to 330. Okay, um, this is too damn high, in my opinion. Now, this right here, I don't know. I think that 300 line, I think that 300 line is quite reasonable for the SPY. The current value of the global economy, take into account. I don't think it's too damn high. 330, I think, would be too damn high. That's where we were right now. If we had actually returned back up to January highs, that would be too damn high. And I would say it probably needs to come back down to this 300 line. But I don't think that this 300 line is overly inflated. I don't. Um, the thing that I think that needs to happen in a huge way is for the market to start understanding how we're pricing things, how we're valuing companies. Because there's a few companies out there that I think are absolute dog turd. Um, Piton, $40. Okay. VTIQ, $28. ACB, $14. Like I got this priced at 5. Okay. VTIQ, I got priced at it's going to go out of business in 4 years. Piton. Piton's a gimmick. It was nice while it lasted. I've got a price probably around this $18. This is reasonable for it, this $2018 mark. So things are just overvalued. But there are things that are not overvalued. There are things like AMD. AMD is not overvalued. That's spot on. Intel. So we've got just this massive gap between what's worth and what's not worth. Uber, $36. Again, not really sold on that. If Uber was a $20 stock, I'd be okay with it, but it's not. And people are talking about ridiculous numbers like Uber should be worth $100 a share, and it's not. Stocks like Beyond are tough to gauge because it's like, okay, well, is Meatless Meat a forward-thinking company, and is that going to be a market in the future? Absolutely. Is it a market today? Absolutely not. $128 a share on this thing, that seems like it's overvalued in my opinion. For this to be $100 stock, maybe, but I mean, okay. So consider Beyond Meat. Okay, brand new company, new industry, unproven, not a lot of sales in it yet. Companies aren't sure how to approach it. Nobody knows what's going on with it. Let's compare it with one of the biggest companies we know in the world today, Disney. Beyond Meat is worth more than Disney right now. That's all of its resorts, hotels, cruise lines, film industry. So Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, all of that. All of that is worth less than Beyond Meat. See what I mean by that disconnect on valuation? It just doesn't seem to mesh, and so that's really what we need to keep our eyes on. Um, I so to answer your question clearly, as far as the SPY goes, yeah. So I mean, to say that any industry is without its dark side is laughable, for sure. Pharma definitely has a dark side. Um, and there have been bioscams in the past. Actually, I think we're in the midst of several bioscams with the FDA pulling back regulation and people coming out every day making claims towards COVID. I think we see a lot of those companies are going to get more than just a tap on the hand. I think they're going to blow up. Excuse me. The biggest one is Sorrento. These guys just drive me nuts. I mean, you really want to get under my skin? Talk positively about Sorrento, okay? Here's a stock that just didn't know what it was. It had no idea. Like, look at fibers. Like, this thing doesn't know what it is, doesn't know what it does. Floating down at 250. Uh, We're not a pump and dump scheme. They make the announcement, oh, we're doing this. They go up 100%, 200% at one point. Um, so there are companies that are undervalued as well. So AMD was actually an example of a company that is undervalued. I think AMD is actually worth significantly more than what's currently priced in there. When you take companies like, so Merck and BMY would be another example for my own industry, right? Merck and BMY, I did set conservative price targets for over 12 months, but Merck is about to have a major jump when people realize the amount of stuff it has in its pipeline. I think that this could easily go double over the next 5 years. I think we could see Merck up around 150, 160. BMY is currently floating that 60 line. Again, BMY is a massive pipeline. It could be around that $80, $90 mark in 5 years. So there are plenty of companies out there that simply are undervalued because they're not getting the same hype right now because they're not a flavor of the week industry. Um, I mean, well, BMY and Merck are kind of in the game with COVID, not really. They're just not that high profile at the top of the news every day. So the market right now has a lot of stocks that nobody really understands why the value is the way that it is. And what I'm saying is, as the market tightens and starts to realize the value of certain things and starts to appropriately value that in, what we're going to see is more mergers, more acquisitions, companies that were overvalued coming down and being bought up or being bought out, companies that were undervalued seeing a huge inflow of cash and support, being able to do more things, and that movement to meet in the middle is going to have a nice meet at 300, I think. Now, where we go over the next little bit as stimulus funds come out, we'll see. But I'm talking about 5, 10 years out here, guys. I think 300 right now is reasonable. As things reevaluate and readjust, we'll see what happens. But what we have right now are companies that are massively overvalued and companies that are massively undervalued. And all I'm saying is, I don't see one side really taking it to the up or down. What I see is those two coming together and narrowing. And because I've got that opinion that we're moving from these high points here, I'm trying to stay on screen, but like these high points here, and then coming together like this as valuations get more realistic, we end up kind of where we are right now. But what we end up with is different companies being more valued, right? So I mean, I love Shopify. I absolutely love it, but does it need to let some air out of the tires? Yeah, that's too huge. To go from 400, even lower, 350. To go from 350, 335 to touching 800. Um, just talking about foresight on the market. Somebody asked what my current opinion on the market is. Is it overvalued? Are we due for a crash? In my mind, right now we're not due for a crash. I think we're where we should be. We're not back up to the 330 highs. Now, the things that you need to watch for, guys, for sure going into Q4 are if we see a resurgence in COVID, you can expect a crash. That has nothing to do with the market being overvalued. That has everything to do with the market fearing another lockdown, right? So that's a different question. Uh, but over time, over 5 years, I don't think we're at an unreasonable level for where the SPY is at right now. No. Uh, Morning, by the way, Rita. Okay, what else we got going on today? We got press releases coming out now because we're past 6 o'clock. So let's take a look at what's there. I got to do something with my GameStop press release because everything is about GameStop's getting broken into. And that's just not going to help me understand what the company's doing anyway. Feel free to throw shoutouts, guys, as to anything that you are looking at. I'm going to go get some water. My throat is giving out here. Must have been all that singing on Saturday, Rita. I'll be right back. 60 seconds, guys. Whoa, 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 Brad. Shots fired. What do you mean singing? I nailed it. I nailed it. The last song was a little rough, but China did respond to Trump Martini. They came out and they put uh, a cancellation on orders for soybean and pork. And then Trump kind of eased back, not giving actual numbers on what exactly he was going to do. So that concern of like, okay, well, what's going to happen? Is the U.S. actually going to follow through on this, or are they just going to bark all bark no bite? Is that where we are with the U.S. government? We'll see today. Oh, we're gonna be lurking in Discord all day for sure. We will all be chatting that up. Man, I am tired. Got some FDA approvals coming in. Here's my single best investment idea from Motley Fool. Let's read that. Okay. What do we got here? We we don't need this. We don't need this. We need this. FDA approves drug combo to treat bleeding, heavy uterine fibroids, heavy bleeding. This was the one that we were talking about the other week, last week. Um, Orion. This is EMFN. No, this is AbbVie. This is AbbVie's answer to EMFN. So that could be bad news for EMFN today. Yeah, Martini actually would be a phenomenal person to be asking about more TA based stuff. Hitch would be another one that would be really good. Yeah. Levi had a question about different indicators that are TA based. I didn't really have a lot of deep insight into it, but drugs being approved with fewer trials. Yeah, this is a huge issue. It's such a huge concern for me. These drugs that are just being approved. History. Did I close something else? Single best investment idea. Mm, Intercept Pharmaceuticals. Hmm. All right, Mr. Motley Fool. You have my interest peaked. At $72, you have lost my interest, good sir. You have lost my interest. It is gone. Uh, Cytodyne is of interest for me today. I gotta make sure that's on my dashboard here. Cytodyne. Cytodyne. Okay. Yeah, they've had quite a tear already. Last 3 months, they had a nice little jump there in April, but they're due for another. What did the analysts have to say on this? CYDY. No, it hasn't been asked yet. I briefly touched on it at the start of the stream. For me, the looting guys is all going to be covered by insurance at the end of the day. It's not actually a loss for GameStop. Anything that was stolen, I mean, I was about to say a lot of the stuff that was stolen was probably stuff they wouldn't have sold anyway. So whatever people took is going to be covered by insurance, and that insurance is going to um, that insurance is going to pay a big chunk to GameStop that otherwise they wouldn't have seen. On top of that, it allows GameStop to close stores, which is something that Michael Burry has asked them to do, something that pressure's been on them to do. Close stores um, under the guise of safety as a result of rioting. So, one of the things that goes well for them in this is their online sales are still looking really good. They're still looking really strong. They had a strong Q2. We know that already heading into earnings this, not this week, but next Monday. They announced the 9th or the 8th post market. So next week we've got earnings coming, and I think GME is going to have surprisingly strong earnings. So again, GME for me is Q4 play, but I think that the next week and a bit is going to be pretty strong into it. The same is true of Target, guys. The targets that close down, people are like, oh no, this is terrible. Target's going to do badly. I don't think so. I think Target does well on this. They're able to keep their employment down as a result of closing all these stores. Everything that was looted or stolen will be covered by insurance. That's not on them. That's not their fault. I see this as being a pretty good week for GameStop. Cytodyne has one analyst offering a $4 price point on them. Hate it when there's not multiple options to pick from. Yeah, I got that news already. I mean, today's a big day for me just to see how the cancer conference went for these guys. Woo! We're up pre-market. Let's go, boys. MMP. The markets are very narrow sighted right now. Holy cow! IMMP is up 35% already. Pre-market. Let's go. Let's go. Glad I took that position. I'll probably exit first thing this morning on that, so that's good to see. What's Merker doing? Merker's got no movement. DMPI is back up. So I'm probably going to exit all of these cancer positions today and look to make a move into something else. I still haven't decided what that something else is yet. So we'll see when we get there. The digital one is an idea that's out there. It's not necessarily an idea that is making huge gains one way or the other. So IMMP, it's got me down right now. That's going to change when markets open. Marker is going to be sideways. I still think that this has huge potential. MBRX is another one. Haven't even looked at MBRX today. What's MBRX doing? 109. It was up 12% on the close. Norwegian Cruise Lines. Okay, so my thoughts with NCLH are this. Here's a stock that at its peak was 60. Even if it takes 2 years to get back up there, right? If you've got the capital to get in at 16 and hold for 2 years, knowing that you're going to see a 400% return, is that worth it? Yes. Now, do we know that cruises aren't going to get hit again if there's another lockdown? No, we don't know that. And that's a risk you take here. So it's outside my sector. I wouldn't trade it, but the potential is there for a 400% upside, 300% upside. Do they have a divvy? It's not currently paying a dividend, so there's no dividend on it. But I mean, YOLO confirmed. And that is where we throw in the wonderful friend of every stock streamer on Twitch, the disclaimer. for me, there's a disconnect here. $7 trillion balance sheet. Yikes. Oh, here it is. Look at it. Look at it. Yeah, like a glove. Uh, how did I get into trading? I saw COVID coming, and I had a choice to make. I could double down on my marketing firm, or I could do something that I wanted to do for a long time, which is trade the stock market. My wife has been super encouraging as far as that goes, where she says, I just see how pieces kind of move together and I see things that people don't see. And when I see those, oftentimes I tend to be right a lot of the time. So she was a huge support and encouraged me to get into the market and to actually get at this. And I did. And at first I saw slow levels of success. Actually, to be honest, last year when I took a first stab at this, I saw terrible results, and it's because I understood companies, but I didn't understand the market. So as I learned more about how the market works, TA, FA, how the different things play together, I came back at it pre-COVID. Here we are. Um, my hit rate is extremely strong. Understand a lot more about how the market just works and operates than I did before. It was a massive learning curve, but putting in the time has definitely proven worthwhile. And here we are. NCLH for the long term, absolutely, absolutely. NCLH for the long term, cruises, travel. That's gonna be something that people want to do again. Now, whether we see a resurgence of COVID or not, question is how long you're willing to hold. I love it. Is this going to be the runner today? Is this going to be the one that just goes and goes and goes and goes? I should have put more in it. That's too bad. I'll be happy with the play. I mean, I guess I got to reload this to see how much is in there, but I'll be happy with the play. I'll take my wins, but I've always got that. Oh, I wish it had done more. Yeah, the market as a whole, guys. Again, the market is forward thinking. What's happening here now in the moment, I don't think it's going to shake the economy as a whole. I don't expect to see that. So, um, yeah. So, I mean, what are we looking at? You want to take a look at TVIX? Let's take a look at TVIX here. Uh, um, 2x ETN. I'm not a huge fan of ETNs either way, but this is a short term VIX. So let's go to the VIX instead of the 2 times S&P VIX. So my problem with VIX, guys, is look at this. Look at the look at here we are in March on the drop, and here we are now. And people are waiting for the other drop to happen, and you're betting on COVID coming back in a big way. I don't think that we see VIX go on COVID. I don't think we see the SPY respond negatively to the riot. So if you're trading a 2x on that, I don't think so. Um, yeah, a lot of you guys have been here since day one. I love seeing the new faces, but at the same time, it's been great actually having a community of people that wake up every morning at 4:30 in the morning, you crazy buggers, and hanging out and trading with me. So or not trading, at least breaking down the market. We don't even do trades live here, right? We just talk about what the market's gonna do, which is the crazy part. Is W overvalued? W is one that has come up in frequent conversation in the Discord. At least between Martini and I don't think that this is overvalued, guys. I think this is where this is headed. I think retailers like Leon's or Bad Boy or any of those brick and mortar retail stores, I think they're missing the boat. They're missing it. And Wayfair is on top of it. You can go into Wayfair right now, right? You log into Wayfair, you go, okay, I want to build a room. Let's say I want to, I kind of want to redo my home office because everybody's going remote right now, right? And so a lot of home offices need to be improved and worked on. And you're looking around, you're like, okay, well, that's a little soft for me. I kind of like this vintage thing and kind of like this, like the globe. I like what that looks like. Ooh, this is kind of nice here. Okay, I like this office. I'd like to try to build this office. Um, what I love about this is like, okay, well, here's a tag. Here's a tag. These are the things in this room that you can buy from Wayfair. It's like, okay, well, do I like that shark poster? I do not. Do I like that table? I do not. I want that chair. I want that shelf. Oh, you guys don't make that? Okay, I'll move on to something else. Um, but it also operates slightly like Pinterest, where you can start an account, say, okay, well, I like that, I like that, I like that. And as you cursor over these things, whatever you see that you like has a tag on it. It's like, oh, okay, well, that bookshelf is kind of cool. Oh, it's $2,400. Maybe that's something that I want. That's exactly it. It's a merger of Pinterest with e-commerce, but it's e-commerce for office. So these are going to be higher ticket items, right? Desk is $1,300. Basket is $150. Black and white picture, $120, right? Like stuff is pricey. Um, that's not bad actually. A bookcase. And you're seeing what they're down from too. Like thing is I just think it's very, very clever. 0% financing, of course, at the top. Um, I love Pinterest. People laugh at me all the time. Pinterest and TikTok. People want to give those two platforms crap. Pinterest is huge because they understand their market. They understand what they do. You see, I do have an active Pinterest. Um, it's just a big beast. It really is. And what people used to say was, okay, well, it's women who are on here, and that's not wrong. There's a large female population, 35 to 55, but there's a growing male sentiment, and there's a widening of that demographic on the female. So, um, just a lot of stuff here, guys. There's a lot. Like Even financials like stock, how to start investing, how to get dividends, how to blah blah blah. Like you can't name an industry that's not on here. Yo-yos, turtle breeding. Let's see. Let's see what comes up. Turtle breeding. Baby box turtles. How to take care of baby box turtles. Baby ear slide. Alligator snapping turtle waiting to bite. Like there's all kinds of stuff here. How to recognize turtles. Funny turtle, cute turtle videos. Like there is literally something for everything on here. It's visual, which I love. They've paired e-commerce. It drags people directly to websites. How to breed turtles from WikiHow is your first result. It's a big beast. Its advertising works well. It's constantly suggesting to you new ideas based off of your preferences and what you're doing. Um, Cosplay. Cosplay is a huge one. My family loves to do cosplay. Sadly, Comic Con won't be happening here, but there's some really cool cosplay ideas here too, right? Like, oh, okay, well, I wanted to do cosplay. Let's see. Here's a cool Star Wars one. I love that Green Lantern one. Uh, Goku's kicking it. Zangief, I don't know that I could pull that one off. Um, that's a really cool one. That's really cool. Look at that Kitty Pride. What's your opinion on e-commerce? So I'm a digital marketing consultant. I work with firms and brands to run their e-commerce businesses. I would never run one myself, just because I don't like the concept of managing inventory, employee shipping. Like that's just not my bag. It's not what I get excited about. I love marketing. I love the idea of trying to understand what elicits a response from a person. So if I do this, they do this. But as far as managing the entire e-commerce business, that doesn't really intrigue me. Um, yeah. Is there profit to be made? Absolutely. If you run it correctly, absolutely. And that's a big part of what I do is I help e-commerce businesses make money by focusing on treating it like a real business. But as for me myself, I would never start an independent e-commerce. I wouldn't go out and design a product and build it. And especially right now with China being what it is, I'm excited about Tip Ranks, guys. I have a meeting tomorrow with the team at Tip Ranks. I might be able to get access to this entire thing and really show you guys what a powerhouse of a tool this can be. Um, but that'll happen tomorrow, so I'll keep you guys in the loop Wednesday on how that goes. Hopefully that goes well. Also, guys, I did briefly mention my approval for LinkedIn Live, even though they have shut down the application process on LinkedIn Live. I was able to pull a few strings with people that I know, and I will be getting an approval, so I will be going live on LinkedIn as well. Martini, for you to use LinkedIn Live, you would have to have an extremely active profile on LinkedIn, which I think is a bit of a disconnect for your profile, unfortunately. Um, the fact that I am already an influencer, I've got articles on here, I've been active for over a decade, those were all big things that helped. So, uh, in the beta rollout, at least Martini, I don't know that it's a possibility for you, sadly, just because your LinkedIn profile is if you're talking about tip ranks is a different beast. Tip ranks, I might be able to do that. I'll have a conversation with them because I'm actually going to present you, myself, and Stock Guide to them and say, here are three different streamers. It would give you a wide spread of the market from first thing in the morning at 4:30 a.m. all the way down until when you finish read it, probably around 8 or 9 at night. So that would be fantastic, I think, for tip ranks to see three streamers using the tool right across the board. Now, whether Stock Guy's on board with that or not, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to talk to him about it, but yeah, there's potential here for a really great tool to have access to this and to showcase it. Some kind of an understanding as to what that looks like will have to come up, but we'll see. We'll see what that looks like and what that plays out like. I'm of course just happy to use the tool. I'm not looking for payment on this. I just love to use tools for free like that. Stock Guy might be looking at a return of some kind, but yeah. As far as I'm concerned, I just want access to this beast. I just want access to it. Okay, well, I think I've got my list for the day, guys. I will be watching CYD. Why Onsi can come off the list. I'm not going to watch that anymore. Probably looking to exit DMPI, IMMP, and Merker sometime today, depending on what they do. Seal is still looking like a good potential buy for me. Side-Eye is looking like a good potential buy. For those of you playing options, NVAX is looking like a good potential buy. That reminds me, I do still have waiter options. It's floating that 240, 250 line again, so not sure what that looks like. We got 10 minutes left here, guys. Let me know if there's anything in particular that you are looking at, you want me to break down, you want me to take a look at. UPS, USPS, all of these guys, they have to start charging Amazon more for delivery. Amazon is just taking them to the cleaners, and that they're letting them do it boggles my mind. Uh, the ticker, oh yeah. Beijing calls president a hypocrite for criticizing rioters while supporting Hong Kong protesters. Yeah, like those are the same things. Those are the two same issues. They had positive results on their tests come out over the weekend at the ASCO. Realty Income Corp. Okay, what is this? Yeah, they're a retail REIT. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near them. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near it, not a mile near it. I wouldn't trade it with your portfolio. If you told me I could burn the whole thing, I still wouldn't trade it. I'm okay with REITs if they're in the residential sector at the moment, if they are in corporate offices. But as far as department stores and retail, mm-mm, would not go anywhere near this. And that's my opinion. Obviously, you guys can have a huge difference in opinion with me, but I see retail going the way of digital and remote pickup locations real quick, real fast. Um, yeah, yeah, that's I all of these. Tanger, Simon, SPG is another one that I got in a bit of a spat on StockTwits about, but I wouldn't go anywhere near them. Stay right away. I would stay right away. Hey, look, it's Rita. Hi, Rita. Okay, so StockTwits. Just see what else is going on here. Adaptimmune Therapeutics is down. Target ERJ. So we were looking at this earlier. I think ERJ has room to run today. Ads. You know, you guys can get out of ads by becoming a subscriber to the channel. I am a partnered streamer on Twitch, so if you guys want to ditch the ads, you could just sub, and then you don't have that problem. Mm, we knew this was going to happen, guys. We knew space was going to go up. Just saying. I don't run those. Those ads aren't me. Oh, the webpage ads. Okay. I can't do anything about these ads. These ads you're stuck with. The StockTwits has ads everywhere. Like, this is just... Maybe they've got a premium that you can get out of that, but... Yeah, this is it. This is it. Ads everywhere. That's how you pay for your website, right? Alright, guys, I'm not seeing anything else that's popping up that needs my immediate attention, so I'm going to go do the get my morning ready coffee with it, the missus. Just get ready for my day before the market opens here. As always, guys, if you missed the start of the stream, a rerun will immediately follow, so don't miss that. And I will catch you guys on Stock Guys Discord chat this morning if you're a part of that community. Otherwise, I will catch you on Martini's stream sometime this afternoon. Again, guys, if you don't know Martini, you want to. I'm telling you, video will rock your mind. Make sure that you check that out. All right. Take it easy. Have an amazing day, guys, and I will see you later.